Stock prices in the cool light of 2021, plus a way to make mental health care more available and affordable.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Staples, with supplies to get business done, from ink and toner cartridges to technology like webcams and networking accessories. More at Staples stores or staples.com. And by Personal Capital, offering advice from fiduciary advisors and professional-grade financial tools. Learn more at personalcapital.com.
I'm David Brancaccio. It's the first day of trading of the new year, and the stock market looks poised to be doing what it's been doing for much of last year, going up. And it's doing this against not just headwinds, but the tornado of pandemic and recession. Stocks set multiple record highs in 2020. Marketplace's Nova Safo is here with more on that.
That V-shaped recovery, David, so many were hoping for when the pandemic first hit. Well, it didn't happen in the economy, but it sure did happen in the stock market. We had the shortest bear market ever. The S&P bottomed out in mid to late March and was back up, hit a new record by August, and it closed out the year at record highs, up 16%. The Dow closed the year at a record high too, and the Nasdaq, listen to this, rose 44%, its biggest rise since 2009.
Now, we know that big tech firms performed well. What else?
Well, in fact, the tech sector is at the top of the list, up 43% for the year. We've seen cloud computing, Zoom, and the like take center stage in the work-from-home economy. Investors are reacting to that. But also the communications sector, including entertainment and media, up 22%. Think Netflix and other streaming services. But I dug into the numbers, and we also see hotel and restaurant stocks managed a slight gain for the year. That sector is up almost 2%.
Hotels and restaurants are generally in terrible shape at this moment. What's the bet there?
Well, many investors are looking to the future, right? And they think there's a lot of pent-up spending out there. After all, while a lot of households are hurting right now, a lot are also saving. American savings rates are up during the pandemic, and investors expect all that saved money, some of that will get spent when the pandemic's over.
All right. We'll see. Nova, thank you. This morning, Dow and S&P futures are up 0.6% each. The benchmark 10-year interest rate remains below 1%, 0.92%, with COVID-19 still raging. Over the weekend, Tesla got close to but missed its 500,000 vehicles made in 2020 target. The stock is up nearly 3% pre-market now. Dear listener, may I introduce you to Stellantis? Stellantis, this is our listener. Stellantis is what they'll call Chrysler Fiat, with shareholders set to approve a merger with PSA Citroën today. Some experts believe Chrysler could be in for more cost-cutting. Jeep and Ram, which are also becoming Stellantis brands, are considered cash cows for a merged firm that will produce more cars than General Motors. The multinational is registered in the Netherlands. Between the first-round election and the runoffs tomorrow, the Senate candidates in Georgia have raised a total of $452 million. Yes, nearly $500 million for 2 seats. Mainly that's advertising money. Here's Marketplace's Megan McCarty-Carino.
About $500 million in ad time has been bought for the Georgia runoffs.
Georgia, we're the firewall. This is the battle.
For the first time in 4 years, we're feeling hope.
Delivered.
I'm Raphael Warnock, and we approve this message.
It's relentless, says Amy Steigerwalt, a political scientist at Georgia State University.
The airwaves are literally saturated. There are no other ads running on any show, on any station right now.
While the Democratic candidates have raised more from small donations, Republicans have the edge with outside spending by political action committees. But most minds are already made up, says Emory University political scientist Bernard Fraga, so it's not clear how effective advertising will be.
If there's ever been a contest where it's more about turning out the base instead of trying to persuade the other side, it's this runoff election.
And no one's actually sure how much money Get Out the Vote organizations are raising. I'm Megan McCarty-Carino for Marketplace.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Avalara, simplifying sales tax compliance with cloud-based solutions. Avalara automatically integrates with more than 700 of the most widely used ERP and e-commerce solutions. Avalara, tax compliance done right. And by C3.ai. C3.ai software enables organizations to use artificial intelligence at enterprise scale, solving previously unsolvable business problems. Learn more at C3.ai. And by GEP, helping transform supply chains with strategy, services, and software, including GEP Smart and GEP Next, AI-based digital procurement and supply chain platforms.
Since the fall, California has started certifying people with mental illness to provide mental health care to others. Here's KPCC's Robert Garova.
Pre-pandemic, I met Karis Jan Myrick at a building in Los Angeles that once was used for storage. She's former chief of peer and allied health professions for LA County's Department of Mental Health.
My God, this is like the best building ever. This is the Peer Resource Center, and this is LA County's first directly operated peer-run center.
Peer-run. That means people who keep this community center going have what's called lived experience with a mental illness. People like Myrick, who says she has schizophrenia.
It's hard to navigate everything, so having somebody who's been through and kind of like they're like your GPS.
California will now be joining other states that have a certification process for peer support services. Authors of the legislation point to research that peer support can reduce homelessness and hospitalizations for people with mental health care needs. Long Beach has a peer respite center where guests can stay overnight and get support. Hacienda of Hope is still operating during the pandemic, although it's limited the number of people who can stay to 6 at a time. At this house on a residential street, the food is free, people cook meals together, and there are regular support group meetings.
Respite would be a solution where it doesn't take away from me financially, and I would still be able to maybe see my son. It's not a locked setting.
That's program coordinator Joey Archangel. People don't need to have a diagnosis or insurance to check in. The county, state, and donations fund the respite program. It costs about $900,000 a year to run. Shell Thomas is getting ready to lead a peer support session.
I've had several hospitalizations, but they've always been voluntary. And so had I known about Hacienda of Hope, I would have never had to be, hospitalized in an institutionalized setting. And so for me, this place is just peace.
California's new law requires the state's health department to establish requirements for the certification of peer support specialists by July of 2022. I'm Robert Garova for Marketplace.
And I'm David Brancaccio. You're listening to the Marketplace Morning Report from APM, American Public Media.